My name is Susan and I am 38 years old. I have two beautiful children, a boy and a girl, who mean the world to me. I have been married to my husband, Anthony, for 10 years. From the beginning, I knew he had a temper, but I told myself that as long as he didn't hit me, I could handle it. I thought love, patience, and understanding would soften him over time. But now, I find myself trapped in a marriage that is draining me. A marriage where I no longer feel seen, heard, or valued. Anthony has always been a difficult man to please. He constantly reminds me that among all the women he has dated, I rank the lowest in terms of beauty and status. Those words cut deep, but I stayed. I stayed because I loved him, because I believed in our vows, because I thought that one day he would see my worth. I hoped that with time, with our children growing, he would become more responsible, more loving, and more present. Instead, things have only gotten worse. His family comes from a very traditional background. His mother was completely submissive to his father, obeying his every instruction without question. I have seen her kneel before her husband while serving him food, remaining in that position until he finished eating. My husband expects the same from me. He tells me that a good wife does not challenge her husband, that I should be like his mother, quiet, obedient, and unquestioning. But I am not his mother. I am my own person, and I believe a marriage should be built on mutual respect, not blind obedience. The worst part of it all was discovering that he was cheating on me. I found his messages to another woman, words filled with love, passion, and commitment. He told her that he loved her, that he could not live without her. I stared at those words, feeling my heart shatter into a million pieces. How could the man who barely acknowledges me, who tells me I am not good enough, pour so much love into someone else? I confronted him, hoping for an explanation, an apology, anything to make sense of the betrayal. But instead he dismissed me. He did not feel the need to explain himself, as if my feelings did not matter. It is not just the emotional pain that weighs me down. My husband has completely abandoned his responsibilities as a father and a husband. He hardly contributes to the household anymore. I find myself struggling to pay the children's school fees, the rent, and all the bills. He earns a good salary, yet he acts as though he is a single man with no obligations. And when I try to talk to him about it, when I try to make him understand that I cannot carry this burden alone, he gets angry. And then the violence began. At first it was just yelling, insults thrown at me like knives. But soon it escalated. If I ever tried to stand up for myself, to let him know that my voice matters too, he would snap. He would lash out, sometimes slapping me, sometimes pushing me. But the worst night of my life was when he almost stabbed me. He had come home angry about something, I still don't know what. I tried to stay silent to avoid his wrath, but something in him was different that night. He grabbed a knife, his hands trembling with rage, and for a moment I thought that was it. I thought my children would wake up to a lifeless mother. I begged, I pleaded, and somehow he stopped himself. But that moment haunts me. That moment made me realize how much danger I am truly in. Anthony works far from home, only returning once every 2 months. When he does come home, we are like strangers. There is no affection, no intimacy. He always complains of being tired, of having too much on his mind. But deep down, I know it is not just exhaustion keeping him away from me. He no longer sees me as his wife, as his partner. I am just the woman who takes care of his children and maintains the house while he lives his life as he pleases. I have tried seeking help. I reached out to his family, hoping they would make him see the reason. But they always take his side. They tell me that I am the one provoking him, that a good wife knows how to keep her husband calm. They tell me to be more patient, to pray more, to try harder. But how do I try harder when my soul is already exhausted? How do I stay in a marriage where I are unwanted, unloved, and unsafe? Despite everything, I still love my husband. I still remember the man I married, the man I hope to build a future with. And most of all, I do not want my children to grow up in a broken home. I have always believed that children need both parents and that divorce should be the last resort. But now I find myself wondering, what kind of home are my children growing up in? Is it better to stay and let them witness this toxic cycle? Or is it better to leave and show them that love should never come with pain? I am tired. I am broken. But I am also scared. Scared of what will happen if I stay. Scared of what will happen if I leave. I need advice. I need to know if there is any hope left in this marriage, or if I am only holding on to an illusion. I need to know if staying for the sake of my children is truly the right choice, or if leaving would be the only way to save myself. Please, to those who hear my story, what should I do?